Okay, the first step is to drain everything. We're going to drain the fresh water out of the freshwater tank. Next, we want to go to the low point drains, and we want to open both of the low point drains. The next step is we want to take the drain plug off of the hot water tank. I have a drain petcock on mine that I installed. We want to take this drain plug or open up this drain petcock all the way. And then we want to come up here to the pressure release valve, and we want to set the handle straight out on it so that the hot water tank will drain. One thing that you want to do after you run the water pump to clear the line is you want to come to the toilets that's in your camper. You want to push and hold the flush valve down. You want to hold this down for about 30 to 45 seconds. That helps drain some of the water out of the plumbing inside the toilet. Now, once all the water is drained out, the freshwater tank is empty, what you want to do is you want to turn your pump on and let it run for about 15 seconds. And then after the 15 seconds is up, shut the water pump off. That helps to clear the line between the tank and the pump of any water that it has. Once you have your low point drains open, it's a good idea to go inside, open up your spigots, both the hot and the cold. That lets air in, and that will help let the water drain out. Now what I like to do is I like to open up my freshwater tank drains, my low point drains, and my hot water tank drain. If I'm at a campground and I know I'm going to go home and winterize my camper, I go ahead and open everything up at the campground. That way on the ride home it helps to get the water out of the system. When we winterize our camper, we want to make sure we use RV and marine antifreeze. It's also important to look at what the protection temperature is. This is -50 burst protection. One of the things that I like to do, I do use my city water connection. What I do is I put my elbow in it facing up. Then I take some RV antifreeze and I put it in the elbow. Now I take a blow-off fitting and I put it in the elbow like this. Take an air hose, hook up to it, and I blow air through it. Now my city water connection is winterized. Now it's time for the next step. What you want to do is you want to go back around and you want to turn off all of the water spigots that you have on. And also at this point you want to go out and you want to close the low point drains. So now that we've got up to this step, the next thing is we want to turn our antifreeze valve on our water pump. We want to turn it to the winterization spot. We also want to go to our hot water tank and we want to turn the valves for the bypass so that we can bypass our hot water tank. Okay, we've got all of our valves switched. Now we want to take our antifreeze hose or tube. We will put it down into the antifreeze, and we want to make sure that we have it all the way in the bottom of the gallon jug. Now I'm going to turn the water pump on, and we want to let the water pump run until it shuts off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start and fill the system with antifreeze. I like to use a big plastic drink cup to catch my antifreeze water solution in. Hold it under the spigot. I'm going to start with this side. We're going to turn it on slowly. It should be white at first, and then it turns pink. As soon as it's a steady stream and is pink, you're going to shut it off. You're going to come over here to the other side, and you're going to do the same thing. Turn it on. Let the water come out of it. It'll be white, and then it'll turn pink. When it turns pink, that means the antifreeze is coming through the spigot. Now, I usually take what's in my cup, and I will put it in the toilet or dump it to get rid of it. Now, you want to go through and you want to do this to every spigot that you have. Your showers, your outside kitchens, your inside bathrooms, everything. Like I said, when the water comes out pink, that means you've got antifreeze in it. Now, once you have everything done and you want to flush the toilet, okay, so once I'm sure I've got antifreeze through all of my lines, all of my fixtures and everything, the next thing that I like to do is I like to come back out and open the low point drains up and drain all of the antifreeze back out. Now, before I come out here and open these up, I opened all my faucets and everything back up like we did earlier to drain the water out. So I'm going to let the antifreeze drain out of the system, and I'll explain a little bit why I do this. Okay, so that we've got the water system winterized, we also need to winterize the drains. So what I normally do is I take my plastic cup and I fill it full of antifreeze, and then we just simply pour it down the drain. I like to use this cup. It helps keep the mess down with the antifreeze. One of the other things is when you drain the antifreeze back out of the system, you can also put it down the drain to help winterize the traps. Now you want to go around, you want to do all of them. You want to do all your kitchens, your bathrooms, your toilets. You've already ran antifreeze through them, they don't have traps. If you have outside kitchens, make sure that you winterize them also. Now once I've got everything winterized inside, the last thing I like to do is I like to come outside and I like to drain the black and the gray tanks. What happens is when you put the antifreeze down in the traps, the water in the traps goes into the holding tank, and it will actually dilute the antifreeze. So what will happen is the antifreeze will no longer protect at 50 below, and you can possibly have your valves freeze up and break. So I always like to drain these completely out and let it sit empty. Okay, so we've got the antifreeze in everything, and we've got the antifreeze and everything drained out of everything. So now the camper pretty much is winterized. And one thing I like to do at this point is I like to go back to the water pump, and I like to put the valve back in the normal operating position. I also like to go to the hot water tank, and I like to take the bypass valves and I like to put them back in normal operating position also. That way it's ready to go.